So I want to give you an idea how I learned to fillet a fish. Actually from some natives. And so there's a few cuts I make first of all. First I cut the tail over here, top and the bottom. It's a nice white spring here, freshly caught. Then I do a cut right by the anal fin on this side of it, and then on this side of it. And I just kind of take the end of the knife and slide it in along the bones there. So once I've made those cuts, then I come over here to the head and I make a cut over here. Now one thing you noticed is that the head is always to my right hand side here. So I've made the anal fin cuts, the tail cuts, top and bottom, and now this side behind the gill plate. So now what I do is I flip over the fish and do another cut behind the gill plate over here. And just make sure it meets up with the other side there. So once I've done that, now what I want to do is I want to take this fillet off. So I start at the backbone over here and just take the end of my knife and I'm sliding it along the top of that backbone. And do it slowly. It takes a bit of practice, but if you do it slowly you can follow that along all the way. And show you in a second here. So I've got that, so now I can roll it back here. You can see it's a nice white spring from the Fraser. It's not a smelly bitter spring. This technique of course can work with probably any fish. Of course salmon, I use it all the time. So now what I'm doing is I've cut through the pin bones over here, my first cut. This over here is the actual vertebrae over here. So now what I'm doing is just taking the knife and following along the rib cage so that the rib cage is actually going to be eliminated. And as you can see, because I made this tail fin cut over here, this just flips off. So again, I fold it over. As I'm folding it over, I'm just following that rib cage there. And almost past it here. And final cut over here. And I've got one side of the fillet off. So now the next side, I do the same thing, but without turning the fish over. I'm just following the vertebrae with the tip of the knife. Just using that vertebrae and the bones up there as the guide for my knife. This is the tricky part here, but if you go slow, and of course after a bit of practice, then you'll be fine. And just follow it all the way to the end over here. And that's done. So now I can just roll this back and follow through those pin bones, cutting those pin bones all the way through, finish it up at the head here, and then again I'm just following the rib cage here with the point of my knife. So the trick, I think, to a knife is having something that's pretty sharp, but that's flexible. And almost done here with that rib cage. And just the anal shoot here, just cut that off so it separates it. And any bit of flesh here that's left. And there's the skeleton, and there's my 2 fillets. And so all I really need to do here now with these fillets is I'll make a cut on both sides of the belly here. And there's one fillet that's loose, and let's take the other one over here. Now this is actually some good meat in here. It's nice to actually just cut it up and throw it in the frying pan, and probably the tastiest part of the whole salmon. So there we go. We got the skeleton there, and 2 very nice spring fillets. Should be some good eating.